This is a document outlining the contents of the input file designed by myself to provide my application with all the required information necessary to ensure a successful delivery of a specific job or work order. The initial comma-delimited line at the top of the file contains information that's pertinent to the entire work order. Following it would come a unit line, followed by either a single module line for a single configuration unit or multiple module lines for standard or complex configurations. I'll be illustrating this format using a file viewer that I created specifically for this process of reviewing input file records. Input files often contain up to 140 units with 3 or 4 or up to 20 modules per unit. Okay, the database application that was used to create quotes and work orders for dynamic windows and doors was called Eclipse. Okay, and it was stored in a folder called Eclipse that was off the root folder, C drive. So I made an agreement with that developer that all the text files that he created for my application, the input files, would be stored in the text folder. Okay, and all of the CAD drawings that I created from that data would be stored in the CAD drawings folder. So we can see there is no CAD drawings in there right now. So let's go ahead and create some from the text files that we've generated from his application. I'll fire up our application here, and we'll see it fires up quite quickly. And we've also got a custom menu in the form of a toolbar, as well as a standard menu up top that we can go ahead and create our drawings with. Okay, you can also hover over these icons and it'll show you what the command does. So let's go ahead and create the drawings from our first work order. You'll see that we're presented with a dialog box asking us which dimensions we would like to include in our drawings. And we can go ahead and maybe take off the daylight opening dimensions, add the sash dimensions, maybe even add the overall trim dimensions. Okay, and very quickly our application draws our elevations for us. If we take a look up here, we can find there's another command that will allow us to draw sections. So let's go ahead and do that. As you can see, it's done quite rapidly. We've got a view drawings facility here that allows us to take a look at the elevations for each unit and the sections. So let's focus on our first unit and take a look at the elevations. Let's do some dimensions here. You can see that the horn of the sill, that's how far it extends past the trim, is 0. The overall bar width, take a measurement here, is 4. Let's take a look at our sill width. Take a dimension here, and we'll see that it is from the top to the outside would be 0.26. Remember that for later. Okay, and now let's take a look at a few more dimensions by having a look at our sections. Here we can see that if we do our dimension again from the top to the top, it's approximately 0.26, and that would be where these two lines intersect if we actually measured that. So as you can see, that's correct. And if we also measured this depth here, we can see that it is 1.5. And again, let's verify that our divider bar width is 4. That is including the beading. And that's 4.0. Okay. And again, if we take a look, we can see that this beading is indeed a standard beading. Just kind of take my word for that. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and use our blueprint editor to modify some of these values in our text file and see how that affects the drawings that are generated. Okay, let's go ahead and use the other application I mentioned earlier, blueprint editor, that will allow us to open up our text files and review them and or modify them. So this one has 4 different units in it. Take a look at all the different data that the file stores. You can see this unit 1 is a single module, so a single unit configuration with a single module. So not all of them are like that. Unit 2 has module A1, module A2, module B1, and module B2. Okay, so let's go back to module A1 here, and let's make some changes to see if that can reflect in our drawing if we make some modifications here. So if we go back to the start, we can see that we've got our sill width was 1.5. We verified that. Let's change that to 3.5. The sill horn, we saw that was 0. So sill horn, we'll change that, let's say, to 8. I'll make it 2.5. Something a little more realistic. 2.5. Our divider bar width, I think we said that was 4. That's over here in the module information. Divider bar width was 4. I think we're going to change that to 2.25. 2.25. And let's change our beading profile from standard to a different code that we have. And I happen to know we can either pick Cove or OG or anything we want, but let's go ahead and choose Cove. By anything I want, I should tell you that any of the appropriate codes that are available. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and saved our file there, let's go ahead and see if it will change in our application if we redraw all. And we'll go ahead and redraw our elevations and go ahead and do our sections as well. And with our viewer, we'll take a look at the elevation first. Okay. Let's zoom in here. And first of all, we can see right away that our horn has changed from 0 to 2.5, which is what we wanted. We can also check our divider bar width, which was 4, now it looks much nicer at 2.25. We could have checked this earlier, but this looks a bit longer here, and that's because the sill projection came out. The width was 1.5, now it's 3.5, but let's verify that in our section. And we'll take a look at our beading as well. Okay. Now remember, this used to be standard beading, and now we see it's Cove beading. And we can also take a look and do a dimension and verify that our sill is indeed 3.5 in the horizontal, and our divider bar width 2.25, like we verified up top. Okay.